Monday through Fridays at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Have all the Pick Dog expert handicappers on to bring you some winners today from a lot around the sports. We got NBA covered, the big one here from the Lakers and Nuggets. We'll have some college football, NFL, and baseball. And, of course, we've got the Pick Dogs in the green room ready to come in with some picks, and we'll get to them in just a second. And I'd like to welcome my co-host for today's show, Joe D'Amico. Joe, how you doing? How are things doing in Vegas?
Tony, I got to tell you, Vegas is heating up. I mean, it's always hot all year round here. We're getting 100-degree days still right now, mid-September. But I'll tell you what's really heating up, the Vegas Strip and the Vegas sportsbooks. You said it. We've got hockey. We've got basketball. We've got baseball. We've got college and pro football. It doesn't get any bigger or better than this time of year. And rarely have we seen this amount of this variety of sports and games to bet on. And I'm just going crazy. I know we got a great panel on the show today. Everybody's been winning, kicking butt, and taking names here at Pick Dogs. I'm just looking forward to see what everybody else has on the show today.
Absolutely. Of course, we want to give you a Vegas report here on the Browns and Bengals. Of course, Bengals getting through the back door, but a high-scoring game for Thursday Night Football. So, a short week for a rookie quarterback, and the Bengals somehow, some way get 30 points, and the Browns are 35, but the dog gets the money.
Oh, absolutely. I know a lot of people during the week that saying they were going to fire on the Browns, and yet this game, I believe it closed, it closed 6, Tony, if I'm not mistaken?
That's correct.
And yet you thought it went back up because there was money as the line was going up and as they were getting hit on the Browns, Bengal money was coming in. It was around that hot number we talked about the last few weeks on this show. But I do know a few people that took a bath because they got that backdoor cover of the Bengals. Hey, it's the Ohio title game. Anything could happen.
Absolutely, anything can happen. Of course, there was excitement in the sportsbooks too, as we had the Heat and Celtics. Miami goes up 2-0. Boston favored. I thought I saw a closing of -3, and boy, Boston in trouble. I'm telling you, that Heat team, that team just takes care of business. They played only one game over the minimum, and only one loss thus far in the preseason. So far, impressive for Miami.
Tony, we've talked about this quite a few times the last few weeks on the show as the NBA playoffs began. Nobody gave the Heat a chance to get this far. And I spoke about it 2 weeks ago. I spoke about it last week. The pressure is not on the Miami Heat. Now they're up 2-0 against one of the Eastern Conference favorites from the preseason, the Boston Celtics. They're a very good team, Boston. But even if you look at the Miami Heat in the first 2 games of this series, they're playing loose. There's no pressure on them. I'm not going to get all hokey because this is about making money, but they're having a good time while they're on the court, and it shows. They don't have any pressure on them. Now down 2-0, all the pressure in the world is on the Celtics. And I will tell you this, unless they win the next game, I believe it's 140-something tries in NBA playoffs. No one's ever come back from a 3-0 series. So if the Celtics don't come in and win, they are done, and they look like the laughingstock of the NBA.
That's right. I don't think anyone will ever go down 0-3. The only team that will blow a 3-0 lead, I will go on record as saying this, Joe, the only team who will blow a 3-0 lead will be the LA Clippers, and that'll happen sometime, hopefully in our lifetime. It will happen. I predict the Clippers will blow a 3-0 lead. No doubt about that. All right.
I will tell you this, though. Vegas here, I think around the country, a lot of people were hoping for a Boston-LA finals to bring back the heyday, the 80s. Of the NBA. I don't think it's going to happen, but we do have some people that are going to be chiming in about the NBA, the last few games, the last few series. I'm excited to see what our panelists are going to say today.
Absolutely. Let's get started here on the Pick Dogs drive-through show, guys. A bunch of free picks coming up from our cappers. We got the NBA games covered, a lot of baseball. Again, we got a lot of NFL and college football coverage. But let's welcome a veteran in the handicapper ranks, Joe Duffy, to the drive-through. Joe Duffy, how you doing this evening?
I'm doing pretty well, but it's so unfair. I can never be the best-looking Joe D on this show as long as Joey D'Amico's there, so I'll always be the second best-looking. But don't forget, there was a Boston team. I know I'm not the king of trivia, but did not the Red Sox race a 3-0 lead against the Yankees the year they won the World Series? So it's been done by a Boston team.
It sure has. It's been done. It's been done with Boston. It's been done in hockey, Joe D'Amico.
It has been done, but I'll be honest, in NBA playoffs, I believe I looked up 140-something 3-0. Nobody's ever come back. It's going to be tough, especially the way this Miami Heat team is playing. Like I said, the pressure right now, Joseph, Tony, is all on Boston.
Yeah, it definitely is. No doubt about that. Again, I still think Miami looks a little faster on the court right now. And Joe Duffy, it's again, in this situation where you're playing, we've never seen this in the playoffs. Teams playing every other day. We've seen the NBA playoffs, teams getting 2 days off between series. I've seen a week off. These, teams sweeping teams facing a team coming off a 7-day series. Who knows? 10 days off. Kind of weird. And I don't know how you factor that into in your database with teams playing every other day.
I do agree with you there, Tony T. Obviously, it's a completely different situation for everybody, including in the database. Because still, I think, you don't have to worry so much about the teams traveling. So I don't think depth is quite as important. And I have done it in the past where, I've looked up numbers where the teams are even more rested, how the over-under does, and what have you. So, yeah, admittedly, some of the advantages that I've had in previous years don't apply necessarily this year, but that's what you do as a handicapper. You got to make those adjustments.
You absolutely do. All right, Mr. Joe Duffy, you're going to take a look here at some college football. I'm looking forward to this matchup here. It's an interesting game. We've got Georgia Tech and UCF. UCF is the traveling team here. You got to be careful when you say road team. People think there's a bunch of home. I think there's going to be maybe a few people in Georgia Tech, but UCF, Joe, is favored 7.5. Total sits here at 62.5. Of course, it was Georgia Tech getting that win to open the season against Florida State. And, of course, UCF, they've got the sophomore quarterback. See if he can get over those woes with some of those dull road performances. How do you see it?
Yeah, this is one of those cases where I think it's almost a perfect letdown situation because Georgia Tech, they did beat Florida State last week, but they beat a paper tiger. But still, Georgia Tech despises Florida State. So the fact that they beat Seminole, that the team Florida State was a big win and maybe a little bit of a letdown here, but I wouldn't be overly excited about their victory. Look, Mike Norville is not going to turn around that mess overnight, so they didn't really beat a particularly good team. Plus, here at Tech with Collins, he's in year 2 of redoing the offense. Of course, they're no longer running that 1930s offense under Paul Johnson, so expect some bumps in the road. What do I say quite often? I like to bet on inconsistency. So both the combination of the fact that Georgia Tech's emotional win was a little bit deceptive and the fact that I'm just expecting Georgia Tech to be inconsistent, even though they are clearly headed in the right directions. And I always like to test theories. I don't want to just assume that Georgia Tech is in a perfect letdown situation, but home dogs of 7.5 or more, if they're off of a win as an underdog when they were 10.5 or more point underdogs in that previous game, are 74, 61, and against. And so that does say that Georgia Tech is in a letdown. I think I said it's a home dogs of 7.5 or more, but coming off a win as an underdog of 10.5 or more. I don't know if I said that correctly. Also, again, a 54.
Oh, we got Joe there. I guess we have some issues there with Joe's handicap. I think he was there favoring, no doubt, in this game. He was favoring the road favorite. He was giving out numbers there, Joe D'Amico there. It's interesting to see when you have a team like UCF that's making their first game. They're playing their first game. They're facing Georgia Tech, who's got a game under the belt. I've noticed in the lines, when I looked at the lines, the bettors early on, and they've been kind of favoring the team that had a game under their belt. Looking at maybe some fact is in this weird COVID situation, some teams didn't play spring ball. Oh, we got Joe back again. Oh, we got you back, Joe. Go continue.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I apologize. It looks like I'm connected to the right thing. I don't know if it's on my end or not, so I don't even know where we got cut off. I did see it froze, but I gave that good stat that basically corroborated that they are in a possible letdown situation. And as I said, that I expect some inconsistency from Georgia Tech because Jeff Collins is in his second year. I don't even know if I got cut off when I said that. But yeah, like you said, UCF, they got an excellent Dylan Gabriel. UCF's always been a team that's gotten some very good quarterbacks, despite not being a Power 5 team. They got another tremendous quarterback. They're not going to be intimidated, as we know that UCF has had some impressive wins in previous years. They beat Auburn. They stayed tough with LSU. So I think this is a case where UCF is the better team. They get to beat a Power 5 team. And, finally, when it comes to contrarian stuff, like I said, I'm not a huge contrarian guy, except I like it as corroborating information. And I also use weighted stuff. When I use contrarian information, I don't go by pure percentages. It's more weighted where I know that the public usually loves favorites. Now, granted, This year, they seem to be liking underdogs in both college and NFL more than usual, which makes sense because they know that there is so much uncertainty that I think even Joey Bag of Donuts likes to bet on the underdog. But still, the fact that the underdog is being favored here, the public does like Georgia Tech, which again is rare, maybe less rare in 2020. So that makes it a pretty strong contrarian play. 59% of the people are on Tech. And then another source that I use that where the public almost always loves favorites, they're also liking the underdog here. So a little bit of everything here. I do like it from an organic standpoint, so to speak. It's backed up my computer and my contrarian information. Also, one of my three top computer programs, two of them have this game kind of, a slight lean either way, but one of the programs has UCF covering 78.4% of the simulations and winning by 21, and in fact, it's their strongest bet of the week. So I do like Central Florida to win in a blowout here.
All right, Joe Duffy says go with Central Florida. Joe, how do you factor in the fact that Georgia Tech has a game under their belt and UCF playing their first game? I noticed in the first week, I've noticed the past 2 weeks, I've been kind of noticing in the opening lines how bettors early on were playing with a team that had that game under their belt.
Yeah, it's an outstanding question, Tony T. And in fact, this situation pops up a lot in college basketball. I've looked that up because it's so funny. So many the coaches who are now sitting up in the booths, or you hear them in post-game conferences, I hear this cliche that teams improve the most from game 1 to game 2. From a betting standpoint, that has not proven true. And again, hopefully we'll get this situation in a couple weeks in college basketball. That is not true. The common assumption that teams that are playing their second game against teams that are playing their first game are at a big advantage. Well, Godsmakers are one step ahead of us because, no, that has not proven to be the case.
All right, that's Joe Duffy setting the record straight out there, using his databases, numbers driven, and he's a data guy, so he'll look up the information when it comes out there and give you the facts. All right, Joe, we're looking over at Pick Dogs as we move to the bottom of the hour. It's going to be a big football weekend. I know you'll have a lot of action over up at Pick Dogs.
I do. I have one baseball play for tonight. It's not one of my strongest nights in baseball, but quality over quantity. And in college football, I think I'm going to have at least 3 side selections in college football, and we're still looking. In the NFL, it's going to be I got a bunch of plays in the NFL that I'm going to be uploading very soon.
All right, Joe, as always, great having you on the show. D'Amico, I know you wanted to get in something, right?
No, Joe mentioned quite a few good points. I mean, Central Florida, I believe they averaged over 43 points a game last year. They are a monster team. They keep defenses on the field. But Joe did say something, sports fans, that's just brilliant. Less is more. He said quantity over quality just now as he closed out. Remember this, guys. It's always better to have one wife that looks and acts like Heidi Klum than to have 100 that look and act like Rosie O'Donnell. When you got one thing, this goes in all fights of betting. Listen, I'd rather bet more on one big game than spread it out and go 6-4 over 10 games. First of all, it's less aggravation, less stress. But when the guy like Joe Duffy tells you a team is going to blow out, they're going to blow out. And Joe mentioned that he's the second best Joe D on the panel. Absolutely not. Sports fans, I want you to know I aspire to be as good looking, half as good looking as Joe Duffy's shadow. The best looking Joe D in the business, right here, Joe Duffy.
All right, well, Joey D'Amico, you take Bitcoin, right? When I paid you, how much am I supposed to pay you to say that? But you take Bitcoin, right? All right.
Oh, you can send me a taste of Joel. You can send me anything you want.
All right, Joe Duffy, as always, great having your show. We'll look for that Bitcoin receipt, and have a great weekend. We'll talk to you next week.
We'll talk to you next week, gentlemen.
All right, everybody, Joe Duffy here. Check him out over at Pick Dogs, experienced handicapper. Boy, he's I don't know who's got longer time in the business, you or Joe Duffy.
I've been around a long time. I just, he has a lot better hair, I'll tell you that. I lost mine. By the way, if anybody dated my ex, you wouldn't even have eyebrows. That's why I lost my hair, Tony. All right.
Several years. They don't combine for 100 years, but a little less than that in the industry. Not yet.
Been around a while, man. Been around a while. I just love being on the panel with the other Joe D.
That's right. It's great to have him. All right, Joe D'Amico, we got a game tipping off at 9 Eastern time. Thank goodness it's 9 Eastern for the people out west to get home in time to watch this one. Game 1 of the West Finals. Denver Nuggets, LA Lakers. The Lakers, it opened 6.5 for LA. It opened 212 was the total. Now it's Lakers 7, total about 210 in this one. And of course, the Lakers, the more professional team in LA. Let's face it, they took care of business, got past Houston, Denver with that remarkable comeback down 3-1 to beat the Clippers, but they got a little couple of days off here. But one thing to note here, Joe, is we haven't seen the best from the Lakers in Game 1 of their playoffs. Remember the drop into Portland and Houston, but again, I remember the words LeBron James said after they lost to Houston is we just need to match the speed, figure out the speed of Houston. Once they did, and of course with Portland, they were able to adjust and pretty much use their defense to win and get around the bucket.
Well, Tony, it is interesting. LeBron, Anthony Davis, two big men, two of the best big men in the game. Great 1-2 punch for the Lakers. I believe they're combining for over, 52, 53, 54 points a game this postseason, which is just outstanding. They're getting a very good contribution from their bench. But once again, more pressure on the Lakers. The Nuggets upended, came out of the last round, came into this round. Lakers a little more time to rest and prepare. But I've got to tell you, man, you saw the line go a little bit up on the Lakers. You're always going to see here in Vegas and throughout the country a team like the Lakers and a player like LeBron. The bettors are going to bet him. The numbers are going to go up. So obviously, anytime you want to play the Lakers, you want to play them a little earlier. Whoever they're playing against them, or whoever's playing against them, you want to play them a little bit later. You always get a half a point or a point edge. This is a very interesting series. We will see, as you mentioned, the Lakers had a tough opening series opener a round ago. They did come back to make the team pay. They're a very good team. Like I said, their bench is really contributing. But I am interested to see how the Nuggets come out here in Game 1. Will the Lakers be a little bit flat? Will they take a little bit light? For me personally, I laid off this game tonight. I want to watch how both of these teams match up in the postseason to see if the Lakers maybe take it a little bit easy. Of course, they're out there to win, but they're coming in off a little bit of a rest. And to be honest with you, they are the favorite. They should win this series. Everybody wants them to go to the finals. Everybody wants LeBron in the finals. But I think that this Game 1 is going to definitely tell us what the Nuggets are made of. If they don't keep it close in Game 1, I think we're looking at the Lakers maybe 5 games, possibly even 6. They'll take the series if the Nuggets don't make a real play of it in Game 1 here, Tony.
Yeah, absolutely. And this one, I'm going to look for I'm going to take the points here with Denver plus the 7. I think it's a little different situation here. Lakers had it to themselves around the bucket. A little bit more height around the bucket, a little more rim protection here for Denver. Forced the Lakers to shoot from the outside where they sit 21st in the league in 3 points. I think Denver still has a lot of adrenaline. They're playing with house money right now, and that can be dangerous, I think, in the opener. I'm going to follow that trend where Denver, I don't know if they can win. I think they can cover this spread here behind their shooting. All right, this is the drive-through. A lot more picks coming. We just got the NBA game. We got a lot more football to cover. We got baseball to cover. And we're going to go over to the Diamond right now, and we're going to go ahead and welcome to the show Mr. El Ninos. El, how you doing this afternoon?
Doing good. How are you?
Can't complain. It's a pretty nice day out here. And of course, I know, look what you're wearing. Look at what he's wearing here, Joe D. Look at the shirt.
Got a Lakers shirt. Well, I've only ever seen him in either a Lakers shirt or in a pink nightie. That's the only thing I've ever seen. No, I'm just kidding. He's a big Laker fan. I know he's going to always support the Lakers. I'm interested. Yeah, I know he's doing baseball tonight, but Tony, do you mind if I ask Al? Al, obviously your Lakers are your heart and your soul. From a betting point of view, from a successful handicapper, and I've noticed you on the top of the Pick Dog leaderboards. How do you feel about this series opener in the Western Conference Finals?
Well, don't want to give too much away. Obviously, I have the pick on the side on the site. Obviously, Tony made some good points. You can never really count Denver out. Their shooting's going to keep them in games. Threes do add up real fast, especially when you're making them at the rate they can. And but I do think the Lakers have the better team. Obviously, I don't see how they match up with LeBron and Davis. Yeah, Jokic is good. I think he's better offensively though, and I think Davis might give him some trouble on the other end. And obviously rooting for them to win straight up. But as I said, if you want to check out my thoughts on the spread, check it out on the premium side.
Absolutely. Check out El Ninos on the premium side, doing fantastic work in football this year. And you like Joe said, you see him at top of the leaderboard. All right, Joe. All right, and El, you got some Game 2-itis. You just got to get some action in Game 2 of this series. Pittsburgh and St. Louis, I see cool against Ponce de Leon. He's been a pitcher who's really struggled with command. How do you see this one?
Well, as you mentioned, doubleheaders. I usually try to stay away from them, but they've been pretty good to me lately. And I think we got another good spot here. They're in a tight one right now. And I didn't like them as much in the first game, but I do like them much better in the second one. The Pirates, obviously, they've been one of the worst teams in the league, and while the Cardinals, probably one of the more disappointing ones. And Cool's been, he's been okay so far, except until that last start where he gave up 9 runs and walked 6, so he struggled a bit with his command too, to just 5 strikeouts. And Ponce de Leon, as you mentioned, he hasn't been great this year, really struggling. He's been getting hit hard and hasn't been going too deep into most of his games. So the both these teams, not two of the worst offenses in the league, and I think Cool gives us chance. Excuse me. Wow. Cool gives his team a great chance to win this one. So I'm taking the Pirates on the money line as my play tonight.
All right. El Nino says go ahead and take the Pittsburgh Pirates on the money line in this one. Of course, you are looking at a Pittsburgh team that can be up and down a little bit, but you just think of the Cardinals. It's just the pitching here with Ponce de Leon. You're kind of handicapping the starter in this one.
Yeah, I think we're getting a great price, just probably based on his numbers, and that got really messed up by that last outing. He was looking pretty good before that. He's never been a great pitcher in his career, but he was having a pretty good season, and really blew his numbers up on that last start. So I think, obviously has a better game than he did his last time out, and the way the Cardinals been hitting, I think he has a pretty good game here. And just need a couple runs, 7-inning game. It gives the favorites less room for error too. All you need is a couple runs, and that might be all you need for this one. So taking a shot on the Pirates tonight.
All right, El Nino says take the Pirates in game 2 of that doubleheader. All right, El, we've seen you at the top of the leaderboards. What do you got going? It's a big football weekend coming up. What can the people out there find when they go up to Pick Dogs? What do you got going?
Yeah, I already got an NFL 3-pack, and doing pretty well after a good start in the NFL. NBA is heating up. I got my play on the game tonight as well. Got my NBA play for tomorrow too, and got some MLB plays. Got a 5-pack with four baseballs in the NBA game tonight. If you want to check that out.
All right, guys, check out El Nino's over at Pick Dogs. He's doing very well. Pick up one of his packages, and as always, El, have a great week and have a good weekend. Make some more money for us, and we'll talk to you next week.
I'll do my best. You guys have a good weekend.
All right, El Nino's here on the Drive-Thru Show, 6 p.m. Eastern Time. A lot more free picks coming. And now we're going to take a look at a game here, Joe. 7:30 Eastern Time, college football. ESPN, the U will have Texas State and Louisiana Monroe. Texas State up to a 4-point favorite. Total sits here at 61. And, of course, we at Texas State, they have a game under their belt. UL Monroe going to debut here. So how do you see this one?
Well, guys, as you know, here on the 3 p.m. Pick Dog Show, my free picks 11-2 run. Today, I'm going to be giving out not 1, not 2, but 3 college football winners for you. As Tony just mentioned, Texas State, UL Monroe. Guys, I also see here in Vegas, I see lines of 4.5 and 5. I see this line going down. Personally, guys, they have the wrong favorite here. I feel Monroe should be at least a 1 or a 2-point favorite. The Bobcats come in here 0-2. As a matter of fact, going back to last season, they are now on a 1-9 slide straight up. Even worse, and if you can imagine anything even being worse than those numbers, they're on a 3-21. Scratch that, guys. 3-28 straight up slide. The last 31 games played on the road. How can they be favored here? It just absolutely amazes me. In this matchup, guys, look for senior running back Josh Johnson. This guy's a stud. He ran for over 1,298 yards last season. He was held in check in the Warhawks opener against the Black Knights of Army. Look for him to explode here as he faces the Texas State run defense that ranked 119th a season ago. I want to give you guys a couple of against the spread numbers. Bobcats, 3-7-2 the last 12. In the month of September, they are very slow starters. 2-6-1 the last 9 in conference play. Horrible against conference opponents. And 4-10-1 the last 15 overall. They crush anybody that follows them and bets them. We're going to take the Warhawks plus the 4.5 or 5. And I promise you, you'll take the money here, folks.
I am with you 100%, Joe D'Amico, on that play. I like Monroe and Texas State inexperienced defense, only 4 starters back. How in the heck could they be favored by 7 against UTSA last week? That was another one. It make no sense whatsoever.
Absolutely amazes me. I'll tell you, Tony, the lines makers are usually pretty sharp. I will tell you this. We've seen it for the last several months in baseball. We've seen baseball days and cards where we don't have lines up or even no starting pitchers, for some of these games until just before game time. The odds makers are hesitant. They're not, the general public are not the only ones right now in the dark. Obviously, we haven't seen practices or scrimmages. Obviously, when we talk about the NFL later, we haven't seen preseason football. We don't know what new acquisitions are fitting into schemes. We don't know who's in game shape. We don't know a lot of things. And the lines makers aren't any different. They don't have any more inside scoop than people like you and me do right now. So they are throwing some darts at the dartboard right now. And sometimes they're going to hit the bullseye, and sometimes they're going to hit the waitress in the corner. They're going to be way off.
Absolutely. Of course, Joe D'Amico, fantastic numbers here on the show. Show picks 11-2 ATS. Big football weekend, Joe. What's up at Pig Dog? What do you got going?
Well, I'm very excited. I just want all of our fans and listeners out there to know, over the last 7 days on the Pig Dogs website, I have gotten anybody that's bought my plays paid 6 of 7 days. I am currently on the leaderboard for the last 24 hours, the last 7 days. Top of the NFL leaderboard tonight. I have 1 game remaining. My MLB AL East game of the week. It's just $25. But Tony, sports fans, moreover, this weekend, college and pro football. College football, I have my high roller, my 17-2 sky's the limit, and my dog outright winner. I've got a 3-pack for you guys. That's less than literally the price of brunch. I also have an even higher rated NFL card this Sunday. Last Sunday and Monday, Tony, I got people paying on everything but 1 game. That just doesn't sit well with me. Anything less than perfection this week, I'm not going to tolerate. This Sunday, I got my touchdown play, my consensus winner, my dog outright winner. They're already 1-0 this season. And my coveted gridiron play. And my famous Sunday night late bailout. I am so sure I'm going to make you money this weekend this Sunday in NFL. I also posted a 5-game discounted package, less than the price of dinner. My friends, as a multi-time football handicapping champion, I urge you to get a monthly or even a seasonal discounted package right here at Pig Dogs from me. I promise you it will pay for itself in the first week or two. And if you don't follow me, I'm going to tell you this. You are costing yourself money.
All right, that's Joe D'Amico here on the drive-through, guys. 6 p.m. each time. More picks coming. We got NFL, college football, and we actually will have Goran Kuchar, if you like English, European soccer, we'll get that in as well. I have a pick coming up at the end of the show, so stay tuned. A lot more free pick coming as we head to the top of the hour. Joe, I'm going to look at this one here. It's Wake Forest and NC State. Pretty close line here with NC State laying 1. Total sits here at 53. And, of course, this is an experienced offense returning here for the Wolfpack. There's stability at the head coaching ranks, but they're coming off a down season, but they've been at Bulls before. Of course, Wake Forest, we saw them cover against Clemson. Of course, they were down 37-3 in that one in the fourth. Joe, how do you see this one? NC State facing Wake Forest, close line here.
Well, I will tell you, I've seen this line fall from 2.5 to 1.5. You just mentioned there's a 1. There's still 1 or 2 places of 1.5 around. Spurs fans, I want to tell you right now, look for Wake Forest to come in here with confidence as Tony just mentioned, after outscoring top-ranked Clemson in the second half of last week's 31-13 loss. It's no shame in losing to the top-ranked team in the country, 31-13. Guys, the Demon Deacons won and covered the last 3 meetings with the Wolfpack, including a 44-10 romp last season. Quarterback Sam Hartman, he is going to dissect the very lax NC State pass defense that ranked 101st a year ago. Here are some against the spread numbers for everyone. The Demon Deacons, 11-4 the last 15 as a road dog. 4-1-1 the last 6 in the month of September. 5-2 the last 7 following a straight-up loss. They come right back after a straight-up loss. The Wolfpack, 1-5 the last 6 at home. 0-6 the last 6 in conference play. And get this, guys, they crush bettors. 5-16 the last 21 overall. Take Wake Forest plus the points right now, and you will take your bookmaker's money. You can take that to the bank, Tony.
All right, Joe D'Amico here on the drive-through, 11-2 here with his show picks. We got a lot more free picks coming, and guys, keep it here on the drive-through Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern time. More pick dogs coming up. I'm going to take a look at baseball here, Joe. There's this one between Royals and Brewers. And I like KC in this plus 140. Danny Duffy will get the start. The left-hander comes off a really good start at Cleveland, allowing no earned runs in 5 2/3 innings. And Duffy's pitched well in his home ballpark. And look at KC. They've now won 7-8. But I'm really down on this Adrian Hauser at home. ERA over 7, whip near 2. He's been crushed by the home run ball the past 2 seasons. And Brewers only hitting .216 at home. They're not really hitting the ball well. I'm going to just continue to ride this team, this Royal team with Duffy against Milwaukee. So looking at this baseball game, I like the price here at plus 140, Joe. And of course, we're looking here. There's 2 weekends left in Major League Baseball, so we get into the funky series, that best of 3 in that tournament.
You know, Tony, I agree with you 100%. I know you're red hot with your baseball picks. I see you on leaderboards as well. I'll be honest, man, this is crunch time, as you just mentioned. This is the time of year where the cream has to rise to the top. This is obviously not a normal season. We've seen a lot of different things prior to the season starting, and over the last few months of baseball. So I want you to know, now that the season is kind of stabilized, as we've seen some consistency over the last few weeks from teams, we do see separation from the first few teams in each division from the rest of the division. And it's going to be very interesting to see how it plays out. But, Tony, I couldn't agree with you more. I want to ask you this one time. Tony, what do you have going on tonight at Pick Dogs?
All right, I got a 3-pack, guys, NBA and a couple of baseball, so check it out over at Pick Dogs, coming off a nice night last night and a nice 7 days here, so you can find my plays over at Pick Dogs. Got the NBA game as well as a couple of baseball. I don't have a lot. I've got a 3-pack from college football and the NBA game tomorrow that we'll put up later tonight. So, yeah, I'll be locked and loaded, Joe, for football weekend. Looking forward to the action. Locked and loaded, Tony, on fire. Locked and loaded 3-pack tonight and stuff going on this weekend. Tony, I'm taking my credit card out. I want to buy your games. I appreciate that, Joe. All right, the drive-thru joined by Joe D'Amico here at 6 p.m. Eastern time. A lot more free picks coming. We got more Pick Dogs in the green room, and I think we'll bring in our next guest here on the show is going to be Rod Zawacki, and he's another one who comes in strong. Rod, how you doing this evening? Think we need to unmute, sir? Unmute.
My bad. There we go. My bad. Doing good this evening. Doing good. Nice night here in Canada. Nice and sunny day.
And speaking of Canada, are you looking forward to this NHL Finals? Tampa.
Oh, I am.
Dallas.
I am looking forward to a nice beatdown of Tampa for me. Go Stars, go! All right, no doubt. Of course, interesting to see when as that Stanley Cup Finals begin. Of course, you can listen to Joe and watch Joe. Monday, Fridays, and Wednesdays here. But Rod Zawacki, you're in the morning show every single day. And I mean every day. It's 7 days a week. So you got a big Saturday show coming up at 10:30 a.m. Eastern time. You'll be looking at the college football rundowns, MLB, and more, right? Yeah, we'll probably even throw in a little bit of UFC. I'm not sure if there's a NASCAR race. We'll probably have Jeter around there too. Definitely Saturday's big day. It's big day on Saturday. Yeah. Also, a big day on Sundays, too, as well. So. Oh yeah, that show could be sure to join us there. Yeah, that's a good one. I know Chris was talking some U.S. Open as well. So, guys, give it a look here at 10:30 in the morning to kick it off here on the Pick Dogs Sports Chat YouTube channel. All right, Rod, you're going to take a look at some NFL. And I look forward to this one here on Sunday as we have Detroit at Green Bay. And we've got Green Bay laying 6. Total sits here about 49.5, 49. Of course, Green Bay goes into Minnesota and gets the victory, takes advantage of that young defense. But Rodgers was on fire. Detroit, what else? It's Detroit. What do you think is going to happen? They have a lead and they blow it. How do they overcome this one? How do you see this one, Rod? For me, I see this one. Detroit definitely had the lead late in the fourth quarter and let the Bears come back. The only team that Trubisky actually plays well against is Detroit. But anyways, we're looking at this game here. For me, Detroit, they like to run the ball in this game. And if you look at week 1, the Packers gave up over 124 yards rushing the ball. So for me, if Detroit can establish their run game and run that much against Detroit, that'll open it up downfield for the long ball. And I think that can happen big time. I also think that Green Bay is going to do the same. They're gonna run the ball. Burn some clock. Both teams like to run the ball, which opens the passing game. So for me, this game could easily turn into a shootout match. But in this division rivalry, I'm going to take Detroit in the points here. Call me crazy, but I'm going to take Detroit in the points. The last 6 matchups between these two, the Lions are 6-0 ATS against the points here.
The last 5 in Lambeau Field, Detroit has 4-1 ATS against the points. So I'm going to take Detroit here. I see them getting a nice backdoor cover like we saw last night.
All right, he says coming to the back door. We did see the line open 6.5, so a little bit play on Green Bay. Joe, of course, the Sharps out there really like Detroit this year.
Well, you're going to see you got Stafford coming back healthy and whatnot, and they're going to come in regularly as an underdog. I want to ask Rod, if I may, Rod, how much does these two teams sharing the division, being a division rivalry, seeing each other twice a year, every single year, how much did that play into your picking Detroit here?
For me, that plays quite a bit, right? In these in football matchups, these divisional games are big. For me, they count even extra than a non-divisional game because they do play twice a year every year. And same thing, last year's games were nice and close, nice and tight. So for me, yeah, I definitely look into head-to-head. This is definitely a big contest between these two teams.
There you go.
You said it could be an up and down game. You think it has to be high scoring here for Detroit to get it to cover this one. And so you look at possible and over because it's gone smooth from 46 to the opener.
For me, there's arguments for both the over and the under. Like if you look, Detroit's last how many ever games in September have gone over in week 2. So yeah, like I said, this could easily turn into a shootout, or this could be a slow pace running the ball. If you look at last week, Green Bay they scored 38. There was 38 points scored in that fourth quarter. You take those off, and that Minnesota game goes under. So for me, I'm leaning more to the under in this game, with both teams running the ball and burning clock.
Yeah,
that's what I think. I'm leaning towards the under.
Yeah, that could make sense because we've seen some tired defenses in the second half. As I could recall, there's no preseason, and a good example was San Francisco's collapse in that second half, trying to chase Kyler Murray. When you look at the game replay, you saw how slow the defense, how worn the defense looked, having to chase Murray around.
Oh yeah, for sure. Definitely, we've seen some gas teams in the second half for sure.
Yeah,
with no preseason to get warmed up. Definitely.
Yeah. Yeah, no doubt about that. All right, Rod, as we reach the top of the hour, I know you're doing well. I saw your numbers in the NBA. It's been strong. What do you have going on at Pick Dogs? Big football weekend coming up.
I still got tonight on the board. I got 5 plays I love in the MLB tonight, and I also have the winning side and the total in tonight's NBA game that I really love. So I have a 7-pack up there for you to grab. Be sure to grab it. I'm going to have a huge night tonight.
All right, Rod's going to have a huge night to check him out. Rod Zawacki over at Pick Dogs Premium. As always, you can, like I said, Saturday, 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time. It's the morning show, Mitch and Company. Rod's a big part of that. They'll cover the games for Saturday. Big college football card. Well, I'd say, a lot of, at least there's a game to bet on. We'll have MLB. Of course, MLB, as we have 2 weekends left, Rod, in baseball.
Yeah, by next Sunday, we'll be all wrapped up, ready to start some postseason ball. Love postseason ball.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Excited.
There'll be some NHL talk. We'll have some NBA. That Heat. I'm sure you'll cover that. That obviously cover that Heat Celtics game 3. So I'll be sure to listen to you tomorrow on the morning show.
Yep. Definitely tune in 10:30 a.m. Eastern to us in the morning show.
You got it.
We always have a good time on that show.
Absolutely. All right. As always, thanks for joining us. Have a great week. We'll talk to you next week.
Good luck, Rod.
You guys as well. Have yourself a good weekend.
We plan to. All right, back here with Joe D'Amico here on the drive-thru. All right, we'll continue with picks. A lot of picks coming, guys. We'll continue. And, Joe, I know you're going to be looking at this college football one between Tulsa and Oklahoma State. When you hear Oklahoma State, just points pop in my head for some reason every time I hear about this team. And we're going to get you here a line in this one as we've got the Big 12 team at favorite here by 23. Total sits here at 66. It's an early kickoff on ESPN.
Oh, absolutely, Tony. We're going down to Stillwater. I love Stillwater, Oklahoma. You mentioned the Cowboys are hosting the Hurricanes, favorite 23. Friends, with both teams kicking off the campaign here, I have no problem laying wood with an Oklahoma State team looking for redemption after a disappointing finish to their season a year ago. If you recall, they lost to Texas A&M in their bowl matchup. These in-state rivals have only met 4 times over the last decade, but the Cowboys have won and covered all 4 meetings. In last year's contest, running back Chuba Hubbard, I love his name, Chuba Hubbard, he steamrolled the Golden Hurricanes defense for about 256 yards on the ground en route to a 2,094-yard rushing season. Incredible, guys, just incredible. This doesn't fare well for a Tulsa as the ball carrier returns this season, and he faces a defense that ranked 92 versus the rush in 2019. Not only that, but Okie State also sees the return of standouts. These are some of their standouts, guys. Quarterback Sanders, I mean, guys, he had a 62.8 completion rate last year. He passed for over 2,000 yards. He's joined by one of the best wide receivers in the Big Ten, Wallace, 53 receptions for over 903 yards receiving a season ago. Let me give you a couple of against the spread numbers. These are overwhelming. Cowboys, 5-0 the last 5 in the month of September. They start strong. 7-2 the last 9 at home. And 14-0, get this, 14-0 against the spread the last 14 versus non-Big 12 foes. I'm laying the wood, you lay the wood, and I promise you, you'll get paid from your bookmaker here. We're going Okie State Cowboys all the way. Yeehaw!
All right, Joe D'Amico says take Oklahoma State, lay the points here against Tulsa. And, of course, we had an early noon kickoff. Of course, 11-2, Joe, with your plays here. That's not too shabby.
Well, you know what does stick in my craw? What does stick in my craw, Tony, are those 2 losses. When you go 11-2, like I normally do on these runs, it's not the 11 wins that I want to talk about. It's the 2 losses that pisses me off, plain and simple. But I'm going to tell you right now, we gave 3 good free college football games. I expect to go 3-0 with those here. I do expect to sweep the board tomorrow in college football on Pick Dogs. They got a 3-pack. Sunday, I expect I'm telling you guys, grab a broom because we're sweeping Sunday. Anything less than perfection, I won't tolerate. But you and I are going to be talking a little NFL shortly, and I'm looking forward to that, Tony.
Absolutely. We still got 3 NFL picks coming up on the show. We've got our European soccer play coming in as well. Let's go ahead and bring in Goran Kuchar. You can find Goran over at the Pig Dogs Premium site. Goran, how you doing this evening?
Hey guys, I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing very well. I'd like to get your thoughts here after week 1 of the Premier League. Of course, Liverpool prevails over Leeds 4-3. It was a pretty high-scoring clash there between those two.
Oh man, what a game that was, man. It was so fun to watch that game. It was crazy. Like we saw 7 goals, 2 penalty kicks, and a lot of chances in that on both sides. It was crazy.
Yeah, some people have been touting this Leeds team. What's your thoughts of them? You think it's this is maybe their peak, that they won't be competing for a top 8 finish?
I think they might. They have a crazy coach. They call him El Loco or something like that. He has all kinds of tactics and stuff, and like they were pretty dominant in the second division last year, and they're finally back after many years of being down and starting all over again. I like Leeds. I think they could end up close to the Europa League this season.
Oh wow, that's a pretty good finish for Leeds. Any other team really gets your attention after the first week of action?
I like Chelsea, although they're still struggling a bit in the offensive end, but they have a lot of new players, and it takes a while for them to get to know each other and stuff. And I liked Arsenal last week.
All right, yes, right. You did have Arsenal. That was a show pick. That one came in nicely over Fulham, 3-0 result for you. Looking at week 2, I know you're going to be coming with a Bundesliga pick, but in week 2 for the EPL, any games to really watch, any games that you're going to have your radar on?
Yeah, I already have Arsenal on the premium picks, and I actually have Leeds as well. It's going to be an exciting game as well.
All right, looking for some excitement. All right, Goran Kuchar, you can find him here on Pick Dogs Premium. You're going to be looking at the Bundesliga match between Dortmund and Gladbach, and we expect 10,000 fans here for this one in week 1. Of course, Dortmund. These are two of the top 4 finishers in the Bundesliga.
Yeah, Mönchengladbach ended in 4th place last season, and Borussia was in 2nd place, and it was only 2 points difference between them last season. So we had a Bundesliga starting today. Bayern was the opening match, and turned out to be, I don't know, just another practice for Bayern because they won 8-0. So it was crazy.
Yes, it was. All right. So Of course, out here in the States, you can watch the Bundesligas on ESPN Plus. And how do you see this one? What side are you going to be on?
I'm actually gonna pick both teams to score and over 2.5 goals in this match because both teams are pretty good offensively, while their defenses are not yet settled, and I think we could see quite a bit of goals here.
Bayern still the class of the league?
Yeah, absolutely. They won the title eight season in a row last season, and judging by this first match, I'm not sure if anybody can stop them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Are there any other teams, any other matchups you have your eyes on? We'll find at the premium.
Yeah, I have a package for tomorrow with 5 picks already up, and I have an all-access pass for the whole weekend, and there's 5 or 6 more games coming up for Sunday, so there's going to be plenty of soccer on.
All right, so you can find Goran Kuchar over at the Pick Dogs Premium. Of course, pick up one of his packs. Do you have any season packages? You'd be working on those? Like, say, someone wants to subscribe to the EPL or a season for you?
Yeah, I have a season package that started last week, and it's going all the way to May 31st, and it will include every soccer game I post in the premium section. So we have all the leagues, we have the Nations League, we have the World Cup qualifications, and everything.
So other than Bundesliga and the EPL, what other leagues are you handicapping? Are you handicapping any North American leagues, or everything's strictly European?
No, I'm sticking to the European leagues and the national teams for now, but we'll see in the future what's going to happen with the MLS, because that's getting exciting. It's getting better every season, so we'll see to look into that as well.
All right. Although the League MX seems to be a little bit more popular in this country, in the United States, than MLS for some reason.
Yeah, I don't know why, but it's a pretty strong league as well.
Yes, it is very strong. All right, Goran, we'll be looking for your plays over at the premium site. You can find you over at Big Dogs Premium. Also, you do provide content, so if they want to read some of your content, where can they find it as well on the sites?
Yeah, there's a lot of free picks at the Sports Chat Place under soccer section, and still more coming every week.
All right, man. Goran Kuchar is the man for English Premier Soccer League, European soccer. Of course, we get into that. When's the next break for these teams? What's the next international tournaments?
They're coming at the beginning of the October. We have, I think, 3 rounds of the Nations League because they want to finish that sooner than they did last time, because we have the Euro Cup next year. So yeah, I think October 5th or something like that.
Wow. No rest. I'm telling you, no one works harder than soccer players. I mean, if you're an elite player, no one works harder than them. When you say, well, this team's league, no, but they play for their international league, for a national team, and they're lucky to get 2 weeks off, right?
Yeah, if they're lucky this year, especially. I think they might get a week or 2 during Christmas, but that's about it.
Man, you guys work those guys hard over there, man. I'll tell you, man. No time.
That's why they're paid so much.
That's why they're paid so much. And these players over here in the U.S., they got to look at the soccer schedule, man. And that's tough. That's tough how those guys play. All right, Goran, we're going to take a look for you over at the Pig Dogs Premium. We look forward to your segments every week here, because I'm telling you, EPL, European soccer, is getting very popular. They love the start times over here because, sometimes you're twiddling your thumbs out here between 6:30 and 9 a.m. in the West Coast. And I know out east, they got to wait till noon before the kickoff for football, for NFL, for American football. But you got the European leagues at 5 in the morning. They'll carry you up till noon kickoffs back east. So there's some action to get on. And people are betting soccer. And you go to the sportsbooks out here in Vegas, you see soccer everywhere.
Yeah, exactly. I'm waking up early tomorrow morning, so.
Yeah, I know. Good night. It's time to get to sleep, so you get that 3 a.m. Wake up, that alarm, okay?
Yeah.
All right, Goran, as always, great having you on the show. Good luck with your plays, and check for him over at Pig Dogs Premium.
Thanks, guys. Have a great weekend.
All right, everybody, Goran Kuchar here on the show. We mentioned this, Joe, about the soccer handling just keep going up. It's not just World Cup anymore. This EPL, these TV networks with all these streaming channels, you see them all over the books now.
When I was a kid, Tony, they always told us here in America that soccer is the biggest spectator sport in the world. And you don't get a grasp of it, really, unless you are a big fan. But living here in Las Vegas for over 30 years, there's a huge following for it. We mentioned before on the show that you can walk into a sports book very early in the morning because obviously time zones, time zone difference. There is soccer on, and quite a few people watching soccer here in the morning in the sports books. There are bars just dedicated to certain soccer teams, certain soccer clubs. It's amazing. I have quite a few friends that belong to them. I have a lot of friends that are entertainers that play the strip, headline the strip. They go to these places. I went to a few of these places. It is just a madhouse. But this is huge. Now, I follow Goran because I don't know a lot about soccer, and I've done nothing but make money when I'm following him, Tony. I'm glad he's on a pick dog side. I'm glad he's on our side, guys.
Absolutely, definitely. All right, joined by Joe D'Amico here on the drive-through. More free picks coming. We got NFL coverage coming up. We've got a nice one, Carolina and Tampa Bay. This one opened 8.5. It's now up to 8.5. I see a 9 in some places. Joe, total sits here at 47.5. Carolina dropped to the Las Vegas Raiders. They lose, but they were able to move the football. Don't forget McCaffrey. They got Ted Bridgewater in the backfield. And of course, Tampa Bay looking to come off that loss. Tom Brady looking to bounce back. Remember, he had no preseason, new team, first game. A lot of grief he's taken. How do you see this one?
Well, there's no question he's the best quarterback of this generation. Tom Brady is. But sports fans, he obviously doesn't have Bill Belichick or the Patriots defense at his disposal anymore. And people think because he arrived in Tampa Bay, they should start polishing up their trophy case. Folks, this is still a team that is a work in progress. They have to go up against the Panthers. Panthers, no world beaters either. They did move the ball on the Raiders. Raiders have some problems on defense. But they do have Christian McCaffrey, this team. They're going to get a healthy dose of him. I know the Tampa defense a year ago, Tony, they were number one against the rush, but McCaffrey is still going to get his yards, and he's going to move the chains regardless. I don't see for the life of me, though, why this team warrants being a 9-point favorite. I think it's just because of Tom Brady that the odds makers are anticipating they're going to get a lot of action on the Bucs. I see them maybe a 4.5 or a 5-point favorite. Neither team's D is going to get a lot of rest here. You're going to see the chains moving a lot. You're going to see a high-scoring game, probably a high-scoring affair. I put a small lean on the over, but I'll tell you what. If I had to bet this game, and I am not putting this game out on Sunday, if I had to bet this game, I got to take the dog plus the 9. It's just way too many points for Tampa Bay to lay that money. They're not – we saw it last week. Tom Brady made some mistakes. He obviously doesn't have the same personnel that he had up in New England. So it's a work in progress, this team. I don't wish him any ill will. I wish them – I think it's good for the sport. It's good for sports betting that Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers win some games. But I think it's going to be a long time before they start polishing their trophy case. If I had to play this game, Tony, just a sports handicapper me urges me to take the dog. But we could probably look at a high-scoring game here. Both defenses are going to give them some points.
Yeah, I'd definitely be looking at taking the dog and the points in that one. All right, that was Joe D'Amico here on the drive. Now it's time for my free pick. We're going to look at this Washington at the Cardinals game. Washington football team, we're going to take them at a +7. Must respect that Washington front seven on defense. They were the reason for the turnaround. The team responded from a down 17-0 to score the final 27. Of course, Washington, 8 quarterback sacks on Carson Wentz. Cardinals defense did allow nearly 5 yards of carry on the ground to San Francisco last week. Prefer taking the points with Arizona. With Arizona, I prefer them in the underdog role, not in the role of favorite laying a touchdown. That's an area I do not want to go with Arizona here. Murray may think twice about running on this young Redskins defense. They're fast. They hit hard. He may be forced into pocket throws. For that reason, I'm going to take the 7 in this one as a Washington football team +7 against Arizona. All right, Joe, that was one of the big surprises of the week here. A couple of them with that Washington comeback and, of course, Arizona defeating San Francisco. Kyler Murray really wearing down that 49ers defense in that second half.
Absolutely. Tony, I do want to let all our viewers and followers know something. A common mistake made by many in week 2 is a big trap mistake. They judge their betting criteria solely on what happened in week one's games. And you can't do that. You can't judge something from just what happened last week. I mean, the setups, everything is different. The angles, the schemes, everything is different. Don't just judge what you're betting in week 2 on week 1. Tony mentioned there was some surprise already in week 1. We're going to see some surprises here in week 2. I'll be honest with you, Tony. I agree with you. Great minds think alike. I agree with everything you said on tonight's show. I think you're on the right side here on the game that you just gave out. As a matter of fact, let me ask you, what do you got going on this Sunday in NFL?
Yeah, I'll have a 3-pack from the NFL. You'll find it over at Pick Dogs. I got the 3 plays ready, locked and loaded to go. Also, college football weekend. I'll have 3 plays as well. I'll be getting involved in that Miami-Boston game number 3. We'll look at some baseball. I'll probably have about 5 plays up at Pig Dogs for Saturday's action. So I'm looking forward to a really big card show here on this weekend as we continue here on the drive-thru every day, 6 p.m. Eastern time. Joined by Joe D'Amico and all our expert cappers you'll find at Pig Dogs and Sports Chat Place. Let's take a look at this Falcons and Cowboys game at Sunday 1 Eastern time. We have Dallas, the home favorite of 4.5. Total sits here. High total sits at 54. Of course, both teams coming off losses, looking for their first win.
Well, Tony, the reports are that there's going to be anywhere from 20 to 25,000 fans in the stands. That's going to be interesting to see, and that's apparently, allegedly, those are not facts, but it's going to be interesting to see 20, 25,000 people in that stadium. I will tell you, I'm a Dallas Cowboy fan. I'm a fan just in my personal life. They're supposed to be highly touted this year. The only positive thing I can honestly say about them as a sports fan is that they're in a very weak division. That's the only positive thing I could say. The NFC East used to be one of the toughest divisions in the football. And right now you get all 4 teams, combine them, and you probably wouldn't be able to field a championship team. I really do think Dallas is going to have their hands full and have a hell of a time with Atlanta here, especially with the Falcons' talented wideouts. Atlanta's defense is shaky at best as well. I think defensively, honestly, I think this is going to be a high-scoring game, a lot of chains moving. I think this game will come down to 2 major things: mistakes and who makes the fewest of them, and whoever scores last. I think it's going to be a tight game, maybe settled by a field goal or less, which obviously, being at the line's 4.5 right now, would probably prompt me to take Atlanta. I still think it's going to be a high-scoring field, maybe an over. I'll be honest, though, until Dallas shows me that they could not just win, but win consistently, there's no way I'm putting them out. I'm not going to bet them for myself, and I'm certainly not going to have anybody that follows me bet them just yet, Tony. I'm just not sold on this team just yet. They have a lot to prove to me.
Yeah, I'm with you there. Taking the 4.5. I like the 4.5. I like the 4.5 and 5. I know people call it a dead number, but I like those numbers. You know why? Because a lot of games land on 3 and 4. And I hear a bookmaker always say, when a game lands on 3 and 4, you win no matter who wins the game.
Absolutely, and you've never seen a bookmaker go out of business, man. That's the they always say, they always said, well, who's better, LeBron or Michael? Michael's got 6 rings. There you go. Who's better, this guy or that guy? That guy's got these rings. It always comes down to who gets the rings at championship. But in bookmaking and sports betting, it comes down to who gets the money. I've never seen a bookmaker go out of business. I like those 4.5s, and 5s. I'm with you, buddy. And I'll be honest, Tony, Atlanta has a very good offense. Dallas, we saw them. They had some problems. I think Matt Ryan's going to throw the ball. I think they're going to throw it well with some success. I'm not saying that they're going to win this game, but this game will come down to the fewest mistakes, and I think it'll be settled by 3 points or less.
I'm with you there. Joe D'Amico joined me here on the drive-thru. Joe, what are you going to have up at Pig Dogs this weekend? Big football Saturday, Sunday weekend.
Oh, my goodness, Tony. Tony, I'm going to light it up this weekend. Tomorrow, I've got 3 college football plays. I got a high roller, my dog outright winner, my 17-2 sky's the limit. I also have a 3-pack for everybody. Sunday. Now, I was so upset last weekend, Tony. Tony, I put out a bunch of plays Sunday and a Monday night game. As the king of Monday night, I won that with the Steelers. I won everything I put out, including a 3 and a 5-pack, except for one play. I will not tolerate anything less than perfection this week. This Sunday, I've already got my famous touchdown play, my consensus move, my dog outright winner. They're already 1-0 this season. I have my gridiron play, and I have a famous Sunday night late bailout. That's obviously in the late Sunday night game. Always put that up there, because if you haven't made enough money through the weekend, I promise you, Joe D'Amico Sunday night late bailout will get you there. I have a 5-game, I have a 5-game discounted guaranteed package. I've got to tell you right now, Tony, I'm very excited about week 2 in college and pro football. It's going to be one of the best weeks we have all season.
Absolutely. Looking forward to check out Joe D'Amico over at Pig Dogs Premium. Pick up one of those football packages. He's doing very well in the NFL. I want to get into this bit of news here that just came across here. The Maui Classic will now be played in Asheville, North Carolina. The tournament was announced. The games will be played November 30th through December 2nd. And you'll have the teams participating will be North Carolina, Indiana, Texas, Providence, Alabama, Stanford, UNLV, and Davidson. So the Maui Classic, the tournament won't be played in Hawaii. You can't get out there, but they're going to play in North Carolina. Just good news that college basketball is on the horizon.
It is very good news. And personally, Football is king. I just talked to a few sportsbook managers again today. Football is king. 100 sports bettors in a room, all 100 will bet football. But what people don't realize in football, which you have an advantage in basketball, especially college basketball is daily, 7 days a week. Sometimes you may not love something in a college football Saturday. You've got to wait 7 full days before it comes back around. Same thing in the NFL. 99% of your games are on a Sunday. It's got to come back around. But college basketball, Tony, is every day, and there's usually something that catches your eye and you can make money with. I love college basketball. I just love it. I think it's the be-all, end-all because it's daily. We can make good money, and lines move very easily in college basketball. So if you can anticipate, and you and I have talked about on the show, anticipating lines and movement, fan favorites, TV games, if you can anticipate where lines are going to move, you could stay ahead of the game, and you could choose when you're going to fire or be patient, and be patient just before game time, before you move on the game, get that point and a half, 2 points. And we all know that in football, you winning or losing is a half point. In basketball, it really is a half a point, Tony.
It certainly is. That's Joe D'Amico. I'm Tony T. We'll be back Monday at 6 p.m. Eastern time with the drive-thru. But in between, guys, be sure to check the Pick Dogs and Sports Chat Place YouTube channel for the morning show, 10:30 a.m. Eastern time. Check notifications because Mitch likes to come on also with his halftime shows. May come on with the Nuggets-Lakers halftime, so check notifications there for a live broadcast from Sports Chat Place as well as Pick Dogs with Mitch tonight, halftime Lakers-Nuggets. All right, let's bring on the Pick Dogs. We're signing off for tonight. Give a nice wave to the crowd, everybody, and we will see you guys next Monday at 6 p.m. Eastern time. See you then.
Good luck. Good luck, guys. Have a winning day.